We are counting down the top 10 classic rock songs that define 1975, where chart-topping anthems collided with studio wizardry, and stadium-ready hooks ruled the airwaves. From lush harmonies and groundbreaking tape tricks to unforgettable choruses and epic reinventions, each entry reveals the sounds and stories that lit up FM radio and shaped a generation. Which track claims the #1 spot in this landmark year of rock? Let us begin with number 10. Released in May 1975, One of These Nights gave the Eagles their first United States #1 single, blending California harmonies with a polished R&B groove. Don Henley and Glenn Frey wrote the track, layering their voices over a silky Philly soul bass line and Don Felder's guitar breaks. Producer Bill Shimchick pushed the band toward a smoother, more radio-friendly sound, capturing the late-night energy that would define their stadium shows for years to come. Tension simmered during the sessions, but the result set the stage for the Eagles' late 70s dominance. Listen for those stacked harmonies, the sound of a band ready for the big leagues. Subtitle: I Am Not in Love, 10cc. Released in March 1975, 10cc's I Am Not in Love turned the recording studio itself into an instrument. Eric Stewart and Graham Gouldman wrote the song, but its famous dreamy sound came from a marathon session at Strawberry Studios. The band recorded each member singing the syllable "ah" 16 times for every note, splicing together 256 tape loops and lining them across the control room walls, using the mixing desk faders like piano keys. They played these loops live, creating a lush, endless vocal pad years before digital samplers existed. The track topped the UK charts and reached the US top 5, showcasing studio innovation at its most ambitious. Fleetwood Mac's Rhiannon arrived in July 1975, just as the band welcomed Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham into the fold. Written by Nicks, the song's driving rhythm and soaring hooks introduced a new identity, one draped in velvet, mystery, and moonlit storytelling. On stage, Nicks spun the tale of Rhiannon, with swirling shawls and a voice that trembled between power and enchantment, casting a spell that set her apart from any other frontwoman of the era. Rhiannon climbed into the US top 15 and quickly became a staple of Fleetwood Mac shows, launching both a new sound and a new myth for the band. Bad Company's Feel Like Makin Love hit in April 1975, built on a simple idea that Paul Rodgers and Mick Ralphs dreamed up while rolling down American highways. The song's acoustic verses lull the crowd, then the big electric riff kicks in. Instant ignition for any arena. Rodgers' voice rides the shift from gentle strum to chest-thumping chorus, making the track a staple on album-oriented rock radio and a must-play at every show. The call-and-response chorus turned stadiums into sing-alongs, proving that sometimes all it takes is contrast and a killer hook. Feel Like Makin Love landed Bad Company a US top 10 spot and a permanent place in the classic rock canon. February 1975 brought Steve Harley and Cockney Rebel with Make Me Smile Come Up and See Me, a song that turned personal drama into pop gold. Harley wrote it after his original bandmates walked out, demanding more control and co-writing credit. Instead of folding, he fired back with a sly, infectious chorus and lyrics that doubled as a veiled rebuke. Alan Parsons, fresh from engineering Pink Floyd, produced the track at Abbey Road, giving it a crisp, layered sound. The UK press quickly picked up on the feud, and the single shot to #1 for 2 weeks. What started as a kiss-off became Harley's signature anthem, proof that a little revenge can go a long way on the charts. Number 5, Electric Light Orchestra, Evil Woman. A string hook slices through the groove, and Electric Light Orchestra's Evil Woman is unmistakable from the first note. Jeff Lynne wrote the song in just half an hour at the tail end of the Musicland sessions, as he was looking for a single to round out the album. What started as a quick fix turned into a global hit, gliding into the top 10 on both sides of the Atlantic after its September 1975 release. Lush orchestral lines ride a danceable beat, with Lynne's production weaving strings and synths into pure pop gold. Evil Woman did not just fill a gap, it brought ELO from cult favorite to mainstream force, and it set the template for orchestral rock that defined the band's sound. Number 4. The Who, Squeezebox. Accordion leads the way on The Who's Squeezebox, released in October 1975 and written by Pete Townshend in a burst of mischief. Townshend picked up the instrument for fun, and what started as a tongue-in-cheek joke about late-night romance turned into a radio smash. The lyrics, packed with double meanings, drew a few raised eyebrows and even some radio edits, but controversy only fueled curiosity. The track's country-flavored bounce stood out in The Who's catalog, landing at number 10 in the UK and number 16 in the US. Squeezebox became a live favorite, with crowds belting the chorus back to the band, proving that a playful hook and a bit of innuendo can go a long way. Subtitle: Led Zeppelin, Kashmir, number 3. A single riff, ringing out in a strange, hypnotic tuning, opens the door to Led Zeppelin's Kashmir. Released as part of the album Physical Graffiti in February 1975, the song stretches over 8 minutes and stands as one of the band's most ambitious creations. Jimmy Page and Robert Plant began shaping the piece after a trip to Morocco in 1973, where they absorbed the modal scales and cyclical rhythms of North African music. Page built the song around DADGAD tuning, a guitar setup rarely heard in rock at the time, giving the riff its haunting, otherworldly pull. John Paul Jones took on the challenge of scoring an orchestral arrangement that could match the band's power without overwhelming it. At Olympic Studios, Jones and the engineers wrestled with the logistics of blending strings and brass with Bonham's thunderous drums and Page's layered guitars. The process demanded meticulous overdubs and precise timing, stretching the limits of what the studio could handle. Plant's lyrics map out a mystical journey across vast deserts, drawing on the landscapes he had seen in Morocco and weaving them into a dreamlike vision. Though never released as a single, Kashmir became a centerpiece of Zeppelin's live shows and a high watermark for their creative ambition. The song's scale and blend of musical cultures, Beouz, set a new standard for epic rock, earning praise from critics and musicians alike. Decades later, it remains a cornerstone of the band's legacy, proof that a single riff and a restless imagination can open up entire new worlds. A radio crackle drifts into a gentle acoustic riff. That is the doorway into Pink Floyd's Wish You Were Here, released as the title track of their September 1975 album. Roger Waters and David Gilmour wrote the song in the shadow of the band's own history, haunted by the absence of Syd Barrett, their lost founder. During the Abbey Road sessions, Barrett himself appeared in the studio, unrecognizable after years away. He watched in silence as the band recorded, a living ghost in the room. The encounter left Waters and Gilmour shaken, and the sense of longing runs through every note. The track opens with a deliberately lo-fi radio effect, as if someone is tuning in from another world. Gilmour's acoustic guitar, recorded with just enough space and air, sets a mood of fragile intimacy. The band keeps the arrangement spare, with a few guitar overdubs Richard Wright's subtle keys, and a lyric that questions authenticity in a business that often rewards the fake over the real. Waters' words cut through the haze. Did you exchange a walk-on part in the war for a lead role in a cage? The song becomes both a tribute to Barrett and a critique of the music industry's cold machinery. Wish You Were Here climbed into the top 5 on both sides of the Atlantic, earning multi-platinum status and cementing Pink Floyd's reputation as art rock visionaries. The song's emotional weight, its sense of missing someone who can never truly return, still resonates, making it a perennial favorite for fans and musicians alike. As the final notes fade, the feeling of absence lingers, setting the stage for one last unforgettable anthem. A piano chord rings out, then the impossible happens. A rock single becomes an opera, a confessional, and a headbanger, all in 6 minutes. Released in October 1975 on the album A Night at the Opera, Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody rewrote every rule in the book. Freddie Mercury, holed up with the band at Rockfield Studios, pieced together a song with no chorus and 4 movements, a ballad, an opera section, hard rock, and a gentle coda. He and producer Roy Thomas Baker layered up to 180 vocal overdubs until the tape nearly turned transparent. Mercury's vision was so ambitious that EMI balked at releasing it as a single, fearing radio would not touch a track this long. But disc jockey Kenny Everett, armed with an advance copy, played it over and over on Capitol Radio, stirring up a frenzy that forced the label's hand. The song's promo film, shot in 3 hours, became the blueprint for every music video that followed. 9 weeks at #1 in the United Kingdom, a global chart topper, and a permanent fixture in pop culture. The song's scale, emotion, and spectacle made it the ultimate payoff to a year of studio excess and creative risk. No other single from 1975 or any year since has matched its ambition or influence. Across all 10 tracks, one pattern stands out. 1975 was the year classic rock fused technical innovation with raw emotion. Ambition met accessibility, and experimentation became the new standard. That fusion still shapes how rock defines itself, proving the genre's best moments are when risk meets resonance. What's your favorite?